I gotta open my stuff up.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the December 14th, 2021 workshop meeting. I will call this meeting to order. Val, please call the roll.
Commissioner Penny?
Here.
Commissioner Curry? Here. Commissioner Danio?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Here. Mayor Villa?
Here. And now I'll hand it over to Mr. Forte. We're discussing the continuation of ARPA funding.
Meeting in the hospital. You gonna go in? Okay. So a couple of weeks ago,
Water
we
treatment
had
plant.
done a work session on the ARPA funds, and we explained to the commission what the staff's recommendation was. And several years ago, we had started a third leg over at the wastewater treatment plant, and all of that was completed except the BTU. So the BTU is the final leg of that whole system. So we anticipate that the cost of that BTU is going to be roughly $6 million, and the ARPA funds that we're going to receive are going to be roughly $6 million. So controlling the ARPA funds and how it's spent and calculating for that and recording the information and getting it off to the state and everybody else is a pretty tedious task that multiple projects could become a problem to follow that bouncing ball. Very similar to how we sometimes struggle with FEMA projects and making sure all of the documentation is in line. And as some of you may know, we use Tetra Tech for our FEMA documentation, just so that we make sure we get our reimbursements. And even at that, we are still today working on FEMA projects from the storms that occurred back in 2017? 17, is that when it was? So we're still in the position where we're recommending, hey, Jim, you told me it was turned off. All right, just make sure you close that.
Throw it against the wall.
So we're still in a position where we're going to recommend moving forward with that BTU over at the Public Works Plan. So after the last work session, I did send out the capital projects program book to each of the commissioners to see if there were any other projects that you may want to discuss. We did take into consideration the items that Mr. Laguerre and Ms. Heller asked the commission at that work session, and those items really don't fall into the four corners of the ARPA funds. So staff is still recommending that we move forward with the BTU. This week, I think it might have been yesterday, I sent you an article from Flagler, whatever it was, might have been the News Journal, about Flagler Beach going into a $17 million revolving fund loan to fund an expansion to their sewer plant, as an indication to show you what the cost of these things are. And a little city like Flagler Beach has got to come up with a loan for $17 million to get theirs done. So I think it's kind of important that we continue down this road, complete that project so that we don't have to worry about it anymore in the future as these costs continue to skyrocket. So I'll kind of leave it to the commission to kind of talk about and see where you want us to go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Forte. So if there's any discussion anyone has about it, we can certainly have that. I, for one, have gone through many... we got to get your mic fixed. I've gone through many ideas and taken a look at what other cities are doing and what we could potentially do here, not only just around the county, but around the state as well. And it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody's getting different amounts and everybody has different needs. But as I look long-term down the pipeline and we continue to see, especially construction costs tend to skyrocket moving forward, and that article you sent this week, Mr. Forte, about the actual expansion that they're doing in Flagler Beach for their sewer system, goes to show, if you read that article too, it talks about how it was millions dollars less when they first started talking about it, and we've all seen that here with even our own projects. So the longer we wait, the odds are that it'll continue to go up, and then that's going to have to fall upon all of us and all of our constituents, as we will have to address that in our utility fees moving forward. And we already, I want to remind this commission, we already each year on a 5-year plan for 5.5% increases already on our utility. So in my vision, this is a well-timed grant that I think will do a lot to stabilize. I don't think that citizens will really recognize it because it's not a big project. They don't really know. But I know that they would recognize it if we didn't do it, and then in 2 years we have to sit here and raise our rates not only 5% as we did, but even higher than that to be able to fund this. So after all of my research, I agree with city staff's opinion that this is probably the biggest and best bang for our buck. So I don't know. The floor is open if anyone wants to speak.
I just had a question. I know on the list, in 2026, 27, we got 400,000 placeholder to replace the drives for BTU 1 and 2. Would this accelerate that, or do we expect them to last that long? My fear is like, are they going to break before that? Are 1 and 2 going to go down before we get 3 up and running?
Antoine Corey, Public Works. That's a very good question. There's no guarantees, but at the same time, if we build it and one of the drives fails, we're specifying also that the new system will be compatible with the old system. That means not only compatible, but interchangeable. That means the drive shaft. So we'll have a spare drive shaft that can fit any of the 3 units.
Okay.
So that's the plan right now, is to move forward with that. And if it happens, we have the 2 other units to.
So right now, if we had all 3 and 1 went down, we have the capacity in the 2 BTUs to handle the city needs.
Yes, sir. We'll be at our capacity. We still be under our capacity. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Antoine? Okay. Would you like to say something?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to say I agree. I believe this is a project that the city as a whole won't necessarily recognize as one of those, oh, wow, look at that project. However, like you're saying, in a couple of years, they'll recognize us not having to increase substantially to cover it. And it's obviously a great need that is covered under the restrictive parameters of the grant. But I would like to see outside of that, like I mentioned last time, those $1,000 COVID bonus, or however it's termed, for not only our first responders, but our essential employees. Because we have more people than just first responders that just continued to work through all the concerns we had here at City Hall, having many exposures, and I just believe that's another covered expense under the parameters, and I would like to see us take that into consideration. It would be approximately $105,000, and I've spoken to the city manager about it, and he assures me that that would also not be a problem to add to this.
Well, it would be a qualified expense. Like I said, it's not something that I'm in a position to recommend, but it would be a qualified expense that would come out of the total of the $6 million, that if and only if the commission wants to direct us to go in that route, I'll get with the finance director and human resources director to figure it out, but it would be about $105,000. Well, we'd have to put taxes on top of it. Do you have to? If you want to keep it a whole $1,000, you would then have to add the percentage of tax benefit on top of it. So you'd probably be looking at, just on the safe side, 50%. on average across the board? So total benefits is more than 50%? Yeah, so that 100 may be actually 150.
Right. Well, I just believe
Val?
they stuck it out for us, and we have the ability to recognize that. And I believe that when the parameters were set out for this grant, they took into consideration that essential employees did go through a lot. I'm sure there were a lot of stressors, not only at work, but for their families because of the environments that they're having to work in and the conditions that none of us could do anything about. But I just think we need to take all that into consideration.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments?
I don't think they're gonna, when you said that they're gonna recognize 2 years down the road that we're not raising, they probably won't even notice, but.
Well, that's
Yeah,
I think
but-
what she means and what I mean is
Yeah, no,
they'll
I-
recognize if we
If we
don't do
do,
this,
no,
and then
no,
we
I
have
agree.
to
I agree.
give them a,
Whether or not the $1,000 bonus needs to be adjusted for that, I think either way it's a bonus. So, I mean, if that's something that we could pull off, that'd be great too. And when Joe says we got $6 million and it looks like we need about $6 million, it seems like it all kind of fits, like a puzzle. Mark Giuliano used to say about the city that the water plant was the bowels, right? The bowels of the city.
The wastewater plant.
Yeah, the wastewater plant, I mean, yeah. And so I just thought, it seems like everything works out in that, so I think that's a great idea too.
Commissioner?
Val?
Okay, like,
I didn't want it shown.
down to the same old thing from so many years, that you think you want to spend money on, you spend on things you have to spend money on, you need to spend money on, you don't want to spend it. But we don't want to do it, we want to do it with project where you can see and everybody can see and things look pretty and all that, but I don't really see where we have much choice. If we don't do it, then you've got to explain to a lot of people why you didn't do it. And that's what it amounts to. It's just like any business thing you do. You've got to put the money out there where you really need it first before you get to use it for your own pleasure.
True. Yeah.
So we have to do it.
Well noted. So what's the process here, Mr. Forte? Does this have to come back to us as a commission?
Yes, I don't know if you opened it up to audience participation yet, or if you're choosing to, but what we'll end up doing is we'll bring it back to you then in a formal commission direction on to spend that ARPA money on that project.
Okay. We have one member of the audience here. Would you like to speak, Ms. Heidi? No? Okay. Anybody else from the audience? All right, I'll close public comment. So what do you need? Do you just need direction here?
Either, directions, you can't vote, so the consensus is that the majority of the commission, if not all the commission, wants us to bring forward the third leg of the BTU for our ARPA project for formal decision-making at a meeting probably in January.
Okay.
And are we going to include the bonuses for essential employees?
Yeah, so about that, you believe that we would be able to do both? of
Well,
those?
you're talking about a $6 million project and a $150,000 take from that. So anything that the project doesn't, anything that the ARPA money doesn't fund for the project, if it comes in over the budget, will have to come out of our other funds. It's probably going to come out of the water wastewater fund.
Right.
So we're estimating the cost of this is going to be $6 million. It may be a little less, it may be a little more.
Yeah.
We won't know until we get the engineering done. The design is done, but not the cost is done.
Design is not that.
The design is not done. That was just a site plan.
Right, that was just a.
So we still have to do the whole design of the BTU itself.
Okay. And then how fast would this project get done? I know that something else we may discuss tonight is about a lot of our projects, capital projects that we were not able to get to for one reason or another. Nobody's fault, but so if you could come forward and give us maybe a time frame if we were to move forward with this, with the BT.
Advertise the project for design in January. And by the time it gets to you, it'll be end of February, March. I'm assuming, I'd say about a year after that, will be ready to go to construction. So you're looking into March of 2023 to June of 2023 before we go to construction.
Okay.
And that's about a year usually. That's what it takes for the completion of the construction.
Okay.
So the construction costs could be a lot different
Right.
in 2 years.
Yeah, could be.
So hopefully it'll go down
Yeah, don't count on it.
after all this pandemic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing goes down.
Yes.
Joe, I thought there were some definitions of essential and some auditing.
Well,
What
actually,
we had
that's what
to do-
Stella just whispered to me, is there is, hey, Chris, you can have some of the staff start to quietly filter in, so that, because we're going to be on a little bit of a time crunch. There are definitions of what's considered essential employees, and not all of the employees would be eligible to be funded that way under ARPA. However, you could always decide to use the carryover funds from the budget to make up the difference, or you can use it all from the carryover funds to make up the difference. And I'll explain that during the regular budget. So kind of while we're on this subject, there are a lot of projects that have not been completed this past year, and one of the things that I'd like to do, and I've talked to Antoine about it, is to, some of the staff is going to start,
Yeah.
because we're on kind of a bit of a tight schedule, is to hire a third-party, non-CCNA contractor to come in and help to write the scope, put it out for bid, get the project started, do the oversight, and get some of these projects done, because our staff is tied up with the normal day-to-day operations, and we just don't have time to do it.
Yeah, and we've spoke about this, and I full-heartedly support that, because in our commission meeting tonight, we'll have that in front of us about the projects we weren't able to complete this year, and so I think that that's really essential going into our next budget season, that we contract that out to have some help, so I will be fully supportive of that.
So I received the scope of services from Ray Hooper, who I told you we were working with to kind of clean up our purchasing policy. And from that scope, we'll go ahead and be able to get that out on the street and then solicit some qualified companies that'll go in and assist us, because we want to, the money's there to get the projects done, and it's time that we get it done. And like I said, it's no slight on our staff. Our staff just doesn't have the time and the manpower to do it all, from our finance department to our public works department. So while we have the opportunity to get these projects done, then we should. And what I'd like to do in January is come to you with a list of the existing capital that you've already seen, and maybe some other projects, to prioritize what we want to get done. And then we're going to sign that to the third party and get it done. Now, some of these are not pretty legacy projects. Some of them are necessary projects that we should get done, and others, you know, if you want to put a legacy project in there, that's wonderful, that's fine. But we really need to set a priority so that when I put the scope out, the contractor knows what they're doing and what time frame they have to do it and what the costs are.
And we're going to do that in January?
Can we do a workshop in January about that, Mr. Forte?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so do we need a motion, or both of those items moving
got it.
forward with?
I got it
staff?
taken care of.
What's that?
I said,
Do we need a motion? No, I don't think.
Do we
You
need a
can't, you can't make a
Can't
motion
vote.
at a work session.
okay,
But direction,
but direction is what I meant, not a motion.
I think
Attention's taken away.
it is a
Are
little,
we doing both items for the recommendation, Mayor?
yeah,
second item,
unless there's any objection,
yeah,
so,
the second item, I'll have to, by the time I bring it back to you in January, I'll know what the full financial impact is going to be, and
And you'll include that, though?
yes, and
Okay.
whether or not we can use all or part or any of the
Okay.
ARPA funds.
Okay.
Well, I know we can use the ARPA funds.
All are part.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So basically, does anybody object to moving in this direction?
I want to see the numbers.
Okay.
I'm a numbers guy.
But you're not objecting to having that meeting
No.
in January? Okay. So,
Well, you gonna fight?
your direction is to move forward to January to put that together so we can have all the numbers in front of us.
Correct.
All right. Do you have anything else that we need to address in the workshop? What time?
I don't think so. We're kind of on a bit of a tight schedule, so what I'd like to do is roll right into the, are all your folks
Well, we
here?
have 5 minutes, so people might go.
But we're okay. We're on a bit of a tight schedule, so I want to try to get that done. So Chief, if you'll come to the podium, if we can get Val to just put that,
Am I going to stop?
well, could all still be part of the workshop.
Welcome in, everyone.
If you can put that first slide up, Val. I'll get you in there. Hit the start, there you go.
All right. Well, hello, Interim Chief
Jeffrey Miller. Thank you.
Jeff Miller. Take it away.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
You got, where's Yates? Just give us 2 minutes, wait for Yates.
Yes.
Chief, did you get a final count on the movie night?
Around 175 to 200.
That many?
Around.
Wow.
Totally excited.
We enjoyed the movie and some Sorrento's.
Yeah, which is more than my daughter can say because
Hey.
she didn't have any money.
I didn't get any Serrano's pizza.
Oh, that's why she was giving me a hard
I got some chocolate milk.
Oh, I had to pay for mine.
Or no, hot cocoa.
I got enough family. Sorry.
A lot of great help. Steve Junks was a big part of it, his wife,
And he's
police
here today.
staff,
Yeah.
volunteers. Great event.
Amazing job.
That's awesome, man.
Looking forward to the one in January.
What's
too.
the movie for January?
Maybe Shrek.
All right.
Robin wants to, we have to pay to do it the right way, even though we don't sell tickets, we have to pay a licensing fee for that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to do it for the Grinch too?
For any of them,
Oh,
And the plan is through spring because summers are too hot
and
and
mosquitoes.
It's light.
And
Doesn't
it's
get
light.
dark.
And light.
it gets too dark and too late.
yeah.
It's a great event.
It was.
First time.
Great.
I was telling Mr. Forte that the signs, there's a couple from up north and a vacation in Ormond, and they were driving down US 1 earlier in the day, and they saw the signs, and they came to our event. So
Nice.
they introduced themselves and everything. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, we're happy to see community events and everything our police department does for our community. So we're very grateful.
Is he a lieutenant?
Pardon me?
Deputy chief? What's his title?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant?
Still lieutenant. He's missing in action.
Who's that? Yates?
Yates.
Little pressure on the.
Well,
He's got 3 minutes technically.
Technically.
there he is.
Okay.
Man. You're a busy person. You're holding things up. You're holding things up, man.
There we go.
Oh, you had to go round up some more folks. You need to instruct them as to where their council chambers are. They should be familiar with that.
Would you mind having a seat? Stay up there, sir.
Chief, interim chief, stand up at the podium, please.
I'm sorry?
You need to stay at the podium.
Welcome in, everybody. Come on in.
Oh, boy.
Welcome, welcome.
You getting the gist?
Surprise, surprise.
You getting the gist? Gist?
Oh,
Hey, you better call out of work for the next week.
Uh-oh.
You'll be in trouble.
You even got the big
Look at all
man
these
too,
people,
huh?
Jeff.
There's a tall one.
What's up, son?
Wow. Oh,
God, now I'm seeing old explorers. Man, I'm old.
What's the matter, Chief? You seem a little,
You're a little red there.
a little red.
Nope.
I don't think I've seen you that red before.
So
All right,
Mayor,
the floor is
Commissioners,
yours.
Officers and staff of the Holly Hill Police Department, members of the community, family, and friends. I've known Jeff Miller for many years. You good?
Only seen him cry once or twice, but go ahead.
I've worked with him in many of my positions ever since I was in the Holly Hill Fire Department early in my career and in my administrative role as the city manager. I even kept in touch with Jeff during our absences from Holly Hill. I know the man Jeff he is and the leader he's going to be. Having grown up in this community, Jeff Miller began his career in the Holly Hill Police Department in 1992 as a reserve and part-time police officer. Although he left the agency for a short period of time, he did return to Holly Hill and was moved to full-time status in 1997, where he continued to educate himself by taking college courses and certification classes through the Criminal Justice Standards and Training. Jeff was transferred to the Criminal Investigation Division in 2006, where he worked diligently to resolve criminal cases. Jeff was then promoted to the position of corporal in 2008. He continued his education and served as a DARE officer teaching young children in the school system the dangers of drugs. In 2011, Jeff was promoted to the position of sergeant, where he led a shift of men and women in their roles as police officers, giving them the tools they need to become good officers. Then in 2012, Jeff was promoted to the position of deputy chief. He completed his master's degree through the University of Central Florida in 2014 and is a graduate of the FBI National Academy at Quantico in Virginia 2015. During his career, Jeff has taken on many responsibilities, including the list is the daunting task of handling emergency management, writing and updating the emergency management plan, writing for grants, and steering the department in the right direction. In 2021, Jeff was appointed as the interim police chief. With nearly 6 months of time under his belt as the leader of the police department, Jeff has proven to introduce new changes, new challenges filled with innovative ideas for the men and women of the department. Under Jeff's leadership, the Holly Hills Police Department's training committee, with the input from the entire department, recently created a new emblem listing its core values at the bottom of it, as you'll see on the screen: community, dedication, and courage. Jeff's work ethic and dedication to the department is a perfect example of these values, for which he will demand the same level of performance from all the officers and personnel of the department. He has risen to many challenges placed before him during his 6-month period, for which he has proven that he is ready, willing, and able to fill the role of police chief on a permanent basis. Therefore, I ask Ms. Jennifer Miller to come to the front of the chambers to prepare to permanently adorn Jeff's Class A uniform with the badge of police chief. And I ask the mayor of the city of Holly Hill to read the oath of office to Jeff Miller, swearing him in and announcing his promotion to the position of police chief. Please remove your badge. With us in the audience are, of course, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Miller.
Wheezy.
We have Ormond Beach Police Chief. And we have our previous police chiefs. I'm looking for him. Most recent, Mark Barker, Don Shinneman, and the man I started with, Pat Finn. And although Steve Aldridge would like to be here, he's out of town. So you have the support of your previous police chiefs. So Mayor, I'll ask you to swear Chief Miller in.
All right, you ready? I got a bar or something?
Jeff,
I could do it.
good?
Here, come this way and you do it into the mic.
Yes, sir.
If you want to step forward.
Yes, sir. You got me.
We're going to do this, all right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to help you. I, Jeffrey Miller,
I, Jeffrey Miller,
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
protect, and defend the Constitution
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution
and the government of the United States and the state of Florida.
and the government of the United States and the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold the office of police chief
that I am duly qualified to hold the office of police chief
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of police chief of the city of Holly Hill,
the duties of police chief of the city of Holly Hill,
on which I now am about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Again, this is your chance to stick it. You won't let you charge, I promise. Yep, everybody's watching.
Take your time, take your time.
And one job.
If he says ouch, we know you went too far.
There we go. And so we're about to hear from our new police chief, if you all could sit down. But let me just take a moment to say thank you so much for your service. We can't thank you enough. The city, I know I speak for the city commission when I say that we are extremely excited about our future here, especially with your leadership in our police department. And we want to congratulate you and wish you the very best of success. And we're here for you, and we know you'll be here for us. So at this time, do you want to?
Yeah, well, we wanted to make sure we got a picture with Mom and
Well, how about you say a few words first, and then you can take some pictures.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Forte, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I had no idea. So you all are good to keep this very quiet for this long. So, you know, I couldn't do this without all of you who have supported me through my entire career. My mom, my wife, couldn't do it without you, honey. And I can't look at you, because then the tears come out. So thank you. Thank you to my kids who couldn't be here tonight. But I've had great support from the time that I was running the streets of Holly Hill, from that guy back there, and J.P. Finn, retired chief who hired me, and Chief Chinnaman, and Chief Barker, and Chief Aldridge, and my left-hand person right there. But, you know, what I tried to do for the last 6 months is make it all about you all back there in the corner. It's not about me. It's about you all. And, you know, I wanted to, we have a great team, but you men and women are out on the trenches every day. You're facing the monsters out there. You're out there missing the ball games of your kids. And so I cannot be successful without you all. I am on your team. So thank you for allowing me to be successful on your team. Thank you.
All right.
I'd sure like,
Commission, let's go down.
I'd sure like to get some pictures of the previous chiefs with you, and then along with you, your wife and your mom, which you can probably just...
What do you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, whole group. We can do a group selfie, that's the way I treat it.
You want us down or up?
Probably down. You call the shots.
Or down.
How long was this plan, or how long?
We just threw it together.
Thank you. Val, I got this fish to advance your slides.
Oh, okay.
Congrats, bud.
As long as people don't take the code, foot shots, he
No, sure.
Actually, Joe, you should be in it. Can someone else take a picture and have the city manager in it? Come on, Joe. You have to. Come on.
Behind every good man.
As they're coming up for pictures, I just want to thank the department. You're very good at not providing information to your chief as requested, and even better at keeping a secret at my request. So thank you all for that.
Your communication skills. Real quickly, I know I forgot, I'd like to thank all the department heads who've been very helpful also, but also Chief Godfrey in the back. Anytime I had a complex problem, like, how do I do it? You know, I got the Chief Young also with Daytona. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for always taking my calls.
Go back there. Mom's getting old.
Chief Barber, did we ever do an interview of my mom when I was a good kid?
Okay.
Okay.
You three real quick.
All right, last one. Okay, we're gonna get the chiefs up here next. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to know if you guys,
No.
which way you want to go? Yep.
Learning how to walk.
Not a problem, we understand that.
Good to see you, buddy. Good, all right.
Yes, I'm getting, now you know.
How are you, Chief? Good to see you.
Long time.
You didn't know it? I can't believe it. I know.
71 years old. Thank you. I think all, yeah. Yeah, what were the others?
Yeah.
You guys doing that?
Yeah.
That's monumental.
Anybody else, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely. I want to do. Yeah. How about real quick?
I was either gonna pass out or have an anxiety attack. It was so crazy.
He doesn't know about that.
Oh, you don't know.
Because I was just so worried that he'd find out right before it happened.
What happened to the hair?
I'm getting older, man.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Doing fine.
Hello, the beer.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your help on house.
We'll do it after. Yeah.
Right, he didn't know.
One last one.
He just got to hold him to the fire.
Jeff will do you well.
All right.
I got family charity.
He was a What's that? Yeah. All right. I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, like a public safety chief or something.
You can go ahead and
Hey,
hit
that was
that.
the best picture we could find.
Please, nobody leave, because I want to do pictures afterward. A lot of people I haven't seen in a while. So, all right. It's your turn, sir. You're,
live up to that.
you got the hard job. I'm just the easiest
Tough
person to
act to
fire in the
follow.
room. You got the hard job. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Forte, officers and staff of the Holly Hill Police Department, and members of the community. It's with a great privilege and honor that I introduce Shannon Fountain as the Holly Hill Police Department's next sergeant. Sergeant Fountain originally began his career at the Holly Hill Police Department in 2015. His prior service includes a tenure as the police department's motor officer, a field training officer, a master police officer, and he is an advanced traffic homicide investigator. The Holly Hill Police Department's training committee, with input from the entire police department, recently created a new police emblem listing its core values on the bottom of it. As you can see, I know it's a little difficult. Community, dedication, and courage. Sergeant Fountain's work ethic is a perfect example that demonstrates the police department's values. Examples include his commitment to donating countless hours participating in motorcycle rides to raise funds for those in need. His dedication over the last year of filling open shifts, most of them have been at the drop of a dime and on the midnight shift, and his continued courage of wearing the badge with honor and pride. Make no mistake about it, these are tough times for today's law enforcement officers. We are expected to be social workers, marriage counselors, big brothers, big sisters, medical personnel, and be able to change a tire for someone after a long 12-hour shift. We work holidays, birthdays, and often miss our kids' musical plays or first home run. We work in excruciating weather conditions, directing traffic in bone-chilling temperatures, torrential downpours, and extreme heat with 30 pounds of gear on to protect ourselves and others. These values, community, dedication, courage, are what we live by as Holly Hill police officers. We must remain committed to our community. We must keep to our strong will of dedication of serving. We must continue to have the courage to protect no matter what monsters we face. I know Sergeant Fountain will continue to hold these values, community, dedication, and courage close to his heart. At this time, I would like to ask Shannon Waddell to the front for the honorary pinning of the badge ceremony. And you can bring, you're welcome to. So you'll go ahead and remove it, or he'll remove it, and you'll stick them good.
There it is.
If you just want to let it hang. Yeah. It's okay, you can stay up here, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, and for the first time, let me formally introduce Sergeant Shannon Fountain of the Holly Hill Police. Yeah. I know, real quick. Commission, can we get you all here? Yep.
Yeah.
You don't mind?
I think he should give a speech.
Pardon me?
He should give a speech.
I need to. No. Now, if you'll all just bear with us for a few more minutes, we have 2 more promotions that we'd like to go ahead and do. Go ahead and call Chief Bland up to the podium.
Hi, it's better late than never, and we're glad for this opportunity to come before you and do our own promotions here for the fire department. And it's very fitting that the 2 people that we're recognizing tonight get promoted at the same time. When I got here almost 9 years ago, these 2 gentlemen were already here, and I've got to know them over the past 9 years to see not only what kind of men they are, but what kind of firefighters they are. And these 2 are, we're stacked with good guys down there, but these 2 guys stand out as being tremendous firefighters and guys I would take with me anywhere. And I'm honored that they're here. They make my job way easier than it should be. Like I said, if I ever have an issue, I go to them. Started out as a union thing, but now it's more of a, it is what Jeff was saying earlier. It's a team, and he's right. I'm on their team. They're not on my team, and we're all on your team. So it's with my great honor that I introduce Brandon Davis and Kyle Zimmerman, and we'll do this together, guys. I think it's fitting. And also Brandon's wife Morgan and Kyle's wife Carly with K. With K. Carly with K. You guys are ready? Brandon is getting promoted from driver engineer to lieutenant, and Kyle is getting promoted from firefighter to driver.
Just a real strong push.
It'll stick. And I'm very honored to introduce you, for the first time, Lieutenant Brandon Davis and driver engineer Kyle Zimmerman.
All right.
Yeah.
Do they want to get pictures? We'll stay up here. You guys can come right down here. We'll stay up. Yeah, come on up.
I got it.
Oh, look at the little baby, so cute.
All right, great.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Did you?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You didn't have to trim it for us.
Yeah.
Oh, how adorable.
Oh,
Hi.
those are the real stars right there.
Probably 4. I'm gonna say she's 4.
Mm-hmm.
What about
3.5.
3.5, 4? Yep. This tag's probably
Mm-hmm.
2 tops.
A year and a half is
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Funny how we get to guess now.
Oh, that's great. Got it. Good deal.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your service.
Congratulations.
How you doing?
Guys. Hey, hey. Hey, what's up, man? See you. I got it. It always is falling. It's tough. Oh, one more.
One more picture, okay, oh, sorry, all right,
Over that way, guys.
all right.
Ready?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
There's someone I'd like to have a conversation with.
Oh, wait.
All right, so at this time, let's go ahead and give another round of applause for our first responders here tonight, all of them, including the ones that... Mr. Forte, we're good? All right. Now you all are free to leave. We will not keep you captive here.